Once upon a time, there was a young man named Marcus who was known throughout his village for his excessive pride and arrogance. He believed that he was the most talented and capable person in the village, and he demanded that others treat him accordingly. He often made false claims and ascribed attributes to himself without reason. Despite his abrasive personality, Marcus was able to achieve some level of success due to his natural talents. However, he was not satisfied and constantly sought out new challenges to prove his superiority. He became obsessed with the idea of victory and refused to consider reconciliation or compromise. As time went on, Marcus's hubris only grew. He lost touch with reality and began to believe that he was invincible. He took risks that no one else dared to take and ignored the warnings of those around him. Finally, Marcus's arrogance led to his downfall. He made a fatal mistake in one of his endeavors and suffered the consequences. His reputation was ruined, and he was forced to leave the village. He came to realize that his excessive pride and dangerous overconfidence had blinded him to his own faults and limitations. In the end, Marcus's story served as a cautionary tale about the dangers of hubris and the need for humility. Although his actions affected him primarily as an individual, they also had collateral consequences for his community. His fall from grace demonstrated that unchecked arrogance and pretension can have disastrous outcomes. Once upon a time in ancient Greece, there lived a wealthy and powerful man named Alcibiades. He was known for his great courage, strength, and intelligence. He had everything he could ask for in life. However, his hubris and arrogance eventually led to his downfall. Alcibiades believed that he was invincible and could do no wrong. He often flaunted his wealth and power in front of others, belittling them and making them feel inferior. He also had a reputation for seducing many women, even ones who were already married. One day, while attending a gathering of his peers, Alcibiades got into an argument with a young man named Socrates. Socrates had always been quiet and reserved, but he refused to back down when Alcibiades insulted him. In a fit of rage, Alcibiades punched Socrates in the face. Socrates fell to the ground, shaking and bleeding. Alcibiades stood over him, laughing and taunting him. The other guests at the gathering were horrified by Alcibiades' behavior, but none of them dared to intervene. Word of what had happened quickly spread throughout the city. Alcibiades' wealthy friends and allies tried to cover up the incident, but it was too late. The people of Athens were outraged by the display of hubris and arrogance. Alcibiades was eventually stripped of his wealth and banished from the city. He spent the rest of his life wandering from place to place, never able to regain the power and status he had once held. His legacy became a cautionary tale about the dangers of hubris and the importance of humility and self-control. Once upon a time, there was a young prince named Perseus who was known for his bravery and strength. He was so confident in his abilities that he never doubted himself, no matter the challenge. During one battle, Perseus defeated the mighty Kraken and became even more arrogant. He began to view himself as invincible, as if the gods themselves were on his side. In his hubris, Perseus believed he could defy the gods and stole the treasure of the god of the underworld, Hades. He ignored the warnings of the wise men who told him it was a foolish move and would lead to his downfall. With the stolen treasure, Perseus became even more wealthy and powerful, but his arrogance only increased. The gods were enraged by Perseus' audacity and decided to punish him. They sent Medusa, a formidable creature with snakes for hair, to seek revenge. Medusa turned anyone who looked at her into stone, and Perseus was no exception. Fortunately, Perseus was able to slay Medusa with the help of some enchanted items from the gods, but the prideful prince realized too late that it was his own hubris that led him to his near demise. From then on, Perseus humbly dedicated himself to the gods and repented for his past behavior. He learned that hubris was not a trait to be admired, but rather one to be avoided. Thus, the legend of Perseus became yet another example of the dangers of overconfidence and prideful arrogance. In conclusion, the concept of hubris has been present in myths and literature for centuries, warning us that excessive pride can lead to downfall. It is a lesson that we should never forget, for only through humility and respect can we truly prosper. Once there was a skilled weaver named Arachne who lived in ancient Greece. She was known throughout the land for her remarkable talent, and would often brag about her abilities to anyone who would listen. One day, she went too far, claiming that she was a better weaver than the goddess Athena herself. Athena, who was known for her pride and temper, took offense to Arachne's claims and decided to teach her a lesson. She took on the form of an old woman and visited Arachne's home, where she challenged the weaver to a weaving competition. Arachne accepted, and the two began to weave. Despite being a mortal, Arachne's weaving was indeed exceptional, and the competition was fierce. However, Athena weaved a scene of the gods punishing mortals for their hubris, while Arachne instead portrayed the gods themselves succumbing to their own desires and engaging in inappropriate behavior. Athena was furious, not only at Arachne's challenge but also at her portrayal of the gods. She revealed her true form and cursed Arachne, turning her into a spider and forbidding her from ever weaving anything other than spiderwebs again. Arachne was devastated and spent the rest of her days weaving intricate webs while living in caves and dark corners, forever serving as a reminder to mortals that hubris is not something to be taken lightly. And with her punishment, she became part of a long list of individuals in Greek mythology, and even history, who were punished for defying the limits set by fate.
Do you want to explore more Greek mythology stories? Who do you want to see featured next? Subscribe and leave a comment below to let me know. I'll see you in the next video.